Good afternoon and welcome to Coffee Afternoon. That's what I'm just going to do as a one-off. I know it's a stupid name, but we'll see. My name's Adam Duval, Mental Health Warrior, and tonight I'm going to describe, I've just made it up, spirituality day. I'm joined by the brilliant Krista Ducharme. I think I've said it right.
Close enough. Ducharme.
Yes. Obviously,
it's all good.
We're here to also not just bring light to spirituality, get people over to that, explain what it is, why we need it, and getting Krista's story out there as well.
Okay.
Now, obviously, we know that you came on with a group. I don't know how to describe you three.
Well, we're the Three Crowns. We're the Three Crowns in the Woo Woo is our podcast. And really and truly, the three of us, we take that mystical woo-woo-ness and we talk pretty openly about it. And, to describe what woo-woo is, Gail has come up with the best description is it's the soft sciences. It's the things that people they're intrigued by, but yet they're nervous to really admit that, they're closet woo-wooers themselves. Those who like crystals or astrology or numerology or the, tarot readings or, oracle card readings or, palmistry or, connecting, that connection. And so, we get on once a week and we talk and we each have our own segments and then we just sort of talk.
Yeah. So, I'm going to kickstart with a quick fire questions for you.
Okay, go for it.
Just to lighten the mood. So I'm going to say cats or dogs?
Cats. But I have both, a cat and a dog.
Okay. Weekdays or weekends?
Oh, every day.
Every day? Okay.
Yep.
Favorite type of weather?
I can honestly say it's all weather because I love to be cozy in my big warm bundlies. I love rain because rain gives me permission to calm down. I love the sunshine because I like to go out and play in it. I can say that I don't like hot and sticky.
Humid weather.
I do not like that. Yeah.
You play out in snow then?
I love snow. It's so much fun. And I even enjoy shoveling it, but that's only because I haven't lived in a snow environment like full time in a lot of years. So
what about a thunderstorm?
I've come to really appreciate thunderstorms. I love the magic of it. I love watching the artistry of the lightning. Yeah. And now the clap of the thunder for me is it's really something I enjoy listening. I especially like rolling thunder.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
And the final one, since you're in the spirituality, I'm going to say your favorite moon.
My favorite moon. You mean my moon phase or my favorite moon as in terms of, I take a moon from all the planets?
No, just a type of moon, whether it's the
full
blood
moon. So like, wow, that's kind of, I've never had anyone ask me that one before.
First time for everything.
Yeah, there is. I'm gonna say that. I really like them all because they all have really spiritual meaning and connection. There isn't one more than the other. I guess I do really appreciate a blue moon, which is the second full moon of a month. And I really like that because it brings in a different energy than the first full moon of the month. And so that really can, I'd have to say Blue Moon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Right. So we'll start with you getting your story out there because that's what
Okay.
all this is about. So for the viewers,
Mhm.
who is Krista?
Oh, well. Now that is a trunk that could take us a long time to unpack there, Adam. But
Oh,
I'll
all
give
right
you.
then. All right then. Who is Krista for when she was a little girl?
Oh, when I was a little girl. Oh, I. So because I am a military child, I love to identify as a military brat. I've lived all over the world. I had a great imagination, and I think I attribute a lot of it to a few things. One is the fact that I grew up moving a lot, being alone, and going around the world.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I attribute to is I love my love and appreciation for being outside and playing outside, and my creativeness of my imagination. But my third thing is I grew up for 8 years in Scotland, and in
Whereabouts?
Dunoon. Dunoon. I grew up in
Yeah.
Dunoon. Yeah, my dad was stationed up in Holyloch. And one of the things that I really gravitated towards, and I didn't realize until much, much later, um, were the fairy or the myths and tales that are told and spoken a lot. And here in Europe, it's a very much a popular thing here in Europe. In the States, not so much. And that helped my imagination grow a lot as well. So to explain who I was as a kid is I had a great imagination, and I had a great I was like a sponge. I wanted to learn everything except not necessarily what I was being taught in school. Uh,
Well, I think we're all down that road, Krista.
yeah, but I mean, I love people. And so for me, I would listen to people's stories. I would see things in people that people didn't see in themselves, which is how my journey began without me understanding what my journey was.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, what were you like in school? Because I'm getting the vision that you was at first that shy little girl, and then you grew that confidence, and you just brought people to life.
Yeah, I would say that is relatively a good description. I was shy. I think I was reserved, and I would watch people. I still watch people, even though my personality may arrive like weeks before I do now. So when I go and I do things, it's like I arrive. People know I'm coming before I'm even there because I'm just like this big ball of energy. And so, yeah, I think that I even with that, I still have a tendency to try to walk in, wait that 10 minutes, see what's going on before I even start to interact with people around.
Yeah.
Unless I really feel the need that, oh, okay, obviously I need to come in and be in charge. I do in charge well too.
So explain that group podcast we did, because we never came across each other, but
Yeah.
you lifted it. You lifted it.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, but that's our group. And we just are, yeah. And so, like Gail, the three of us that you met, we have not ever met each other in person.
Wow.
Still, to this day. Yeah. So Gail interviewed me on a recommendation from a friend of mine who actually does know me, who lived in my neighborhood in Virginia, who she and I are Reiki sisters because we have the same Reiki teacher master.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, no. So we do, and our kids went to school together and stuff. So we do know each other. And she had met Gail somehow and said to Gail, not in person, but online, and said to Gail that she needed to interview me on her podcast that she was doing. Next thing I know, I'm on Gail's podcast. And well, we thought we were having so much fun together. We were like, this is really cool. Let's do a project together. And our project, we started with Joanne, who you'll have on later today.
I do.
Yeah. And so that project grew into Three Crones and the Woo Woo.
Nice.
And, and now we have Damaris, who's taken over for Joanne because Joanne has other projects she's working on. So, yeah. Yeah. And we just kind of mesh. And honest to God, if it wasn't for COVID-19, we would never have met, because Gail moved what she was doing online, as did a lot of people. And, that's how we met.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
such a brilliant story.
And it is. And then I don't know how you know Gail. So how do you know Gail?
I know Gail because I interviewed her about her story a while back, and I don't know if I came across her on Facebook or LinkedIn. There was one of them, and I just invited her on to a podcast to share her story, and that's how we grew to know
to invite the rest of the crew on.
Well, I actually invited Gail to come on a catch up about spirituality when it comes to crystals, and she thought, well, I know crystals, but I know someone who knows crystals better than I do. That's where you come into play.
It's me.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, I love crystals.
I know. I will actually get into that later on.
Oh, okay. All right.
We will. So, so obviously growing up, you did a lot. So
I did.
Military brat, did you say?
Yep. And hey, so here's something you'll love. BRAT is an acronym. Okay. And it's an acronym that actually comes from way back when. And BRAT means British Royal Army, and it's the Royal before they lost it. And I'm not going to go in the history of how the Royal Army lost the Royal part, but they did. So now they're just the British Army. So, but BRAT was British Royal Army, and then the T was either transportation, transit, or transition, which was, and that was the acronym that was stamped on the paperwork for the military personnel's family members that were being transported to the next duty station.
Wow.
Yes.
So I'm learning something new every day.
Well, I'm a wealth of useless knowledge.
Oh, you will. Take that useless out. Take the useless out. Go on.
I'm a wealth of knowledge. There you go.
So what did you do after school?
After I graduated senior school, I went to college, and I moved to Japan, and that's where I met and married my husband. And then my husband's military, so I've been traveling the world since. So let me sum it up. I went to 17 schools, primary through senior school, 5 colleges to get my bachelor's degree. And then I've lived on, 4 continents, 6 countries, both coasts of the United States, the North and the Southern states of the U.S. Oh, and I've lived in 2 hemispheres. There you go. Right. Yeah, I think I've covered it. There you go.
I need time to process that. But you love traveling.
I do. And I get to start traveling soon again. I'm very excited.
You're coming to the UK, aren't you?
Eventually, yeah. I'm going to, hopefully next next spring, my husband and I will be in Scotland to renew our vows, our wedding vows, because
Brilliant.
it'll be our 30-year anniversary.
Wow.
And we're going to go to Scotland. Yeah. And we're going to go and renew our vows there.
Wow. Congratulations for that and good luck.
Oh, thank you so much. And then I want to go to England because we have friends in England. We have friends all over the world. So we're looking forward to getting to the UK.
I don't like England.
Oh, it's really neat. I mean, it's been years since I've been there, but there's always something awesome to find. You just got to be willing to look for it or open to seeing it.
Well, one of my because obviously we've all got one of them bucket lists in our life. Yes, yeah. I've got one myself, and one of them is to actually move to America.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Because obviously, with no offense to the British people here, I get on better with American people over the UK.
Interesting. At least the American people you've met.
In person, none, but online, a lot. And I just speak to more Americans than I do with UK people.
Yeah. But just remember, it's the ones that you've been exposed to. And there are a lot more Americans, United States Americans. Let's leave Canada because they're Americans as well.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting. I always like to hear why people want to go to the United States.
Well, there's your answer.
Yeah.
I've got a few places in mind. I've got a few places.
Yeah. Where would you like to go?
The few I've got New York, Ohio, Texas. Yeah, just them for now.
Okay, those are some pretty interesting states. The dynamics of those states are very different from one another.
I know.
Yeah. So unlike in Great Britain, our U.S. states and even just the regions within the states can be very, very, very different from each other. So yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So
yes,
that's where you met your husband from
in
the
Japan.
Military. Yeah, in Japan. So what was when did you become aware of spirituality?
Oh, okay. So my spiritual journey is probably not unfamiliar to a lot of people. We go through different bits and pieces of our spiritual journey throughout our life. We just don't necessarily identify and go, oh, that's my spiritual journey. Yeah. Because that's not language that we're taught. No. That's not an everyday conversation you're going to have with a bystander or with your mates down at the pub. That's just not part of how we make conversation we make in society, which is a shame because honestly, the more you become connected to your personal spiritual path, which is your connection to your life's work, to your journey, to your lessons, to your to the place that you're walking, because we're spiritual beings on earth to have a human experience. We aren't just humans that are supposed to be, slaves to a system. That is not the human experience. The human experience is a wealth of emotions, is a plethora of opportunities, but we're not taught to see necessarily all that. So that becomes part of the experience. That becomes part of the journey. And the journey is about the journey, not the end destination, which becomes a a hard thing for a lot of people to understand because they get stuck in the weeds of, but this is what I should, and this is what I'm told, and this is how it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So stop shitting all over yourself and stop masturbating your life away. When you stop doing that, that means you're one step closer on your spiritual path.
I can't believe you just said that.
What? Stop shitting all over yourself and masturbating? No, muster-baiting.
Oh,
I must be doing. I know exactly. See, I know exactly where your mind went.
Oh my God.
What? Okay,
Anyway.
dude. Get your head back out of the gutter. Come on back. All right, there we go. Boy, you haven't spent. Wait until I start talking about vibrating. Dude, vibrate responsibly. Okay.
I know what you mean when it comes to vibrating spirituality. I know.
Well, it's the same with masturbating. So what's the difference?
It must have been a technical glitch I had then.
Yeah, no, I understand. But yeah, no. So my journey, it started probably from childhood on up. Yeah. And because I'm a healer is what I do. And the further I kept trying to go away from that, the more painful my life became. Okay. And then once I finally it clicked that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, maybe not the way I initially thought I was supposed to do it, things just became more flowful and more fun and more light, and there's more joy, and I'm helping all kinds of different people with a multiple different situations. Mm-hmm. And so I have this, so it brings me great joy to be able to do that. And so my journey became me letting go of things that essentially I had no control of, and B, I was being told that I needed to do in order for it to control me. Yeah. And so, and that becomes a really personal spot for each of us. For me, my personal aspect is I had to realize that by stepping into it and saying, no, this is what I need to do. I need the crystals in my life, because in my 20s, right after my husband and I first met, I put all my crystals, I bagged them all up, put them away in a drawer. I stopped doing numerology at that time because I'd been doing numerology since I had been about 14, 15. I had started learning how to read tarot cards during my teenage years as well. And I started a variety of different other of the soft sciences. Mm-hmm. But once, I was in college and everything else, I kind of put everything in a drawer and was like, forget about it. And now I have my education. So now I know how to conquer the world.
Okay. Do you need help with that? Do you need help with that?
Yeah, but and I was very good at everything I did. It's just that I felt depleted. Brilliant. Felt like a shuck, if you will. Just a shell of a being. And I was, even though I was and I still am in a fantastic relationship. I was in a fantastic relationship. Eventually we started adding children to our fantastic relationship. So now I have 3 fantastic kids. And I do. They're really neat.
Let's go into that. So with all the challenges you faced and everything like that, and you're growing up, what was your response to when you first found out you was going to be a mum?
My first response when I found out I was going to be a mom, huh, I so I
Uh-oh.
was kind of surprised because we had just begun the journey. My husband and I were just like, oh, okay. Well, we're going on 28. We should probably kind of think this through. We had been married already at that point, 6 years. So we were like, oh, maybe we should actually kind of think this through and give it a go. Let's see. And so the docs figured that it was going to take my body about 2 years to get off of birth control.
Yeah.
Because once you start birth control, certain ones, it can take you up to 2 years to conceive. Yeah, no, no, but Monsignor, because we were stationed in Italy at the time. So my oldest son was born in Italy.
Yeah.
And we were at the time very active within our church. And the Monsignor had a convent of cloistered nuns praying for us to get pregnant quickly. Let me tell you, those nuns, they were on a mission because I got pregnant like that. So I was very surprised.
Okay.
Like that. So yeah,
Okay.
I was for me, nervous, scared, overwhelmed. The whole thought of being responsible for the rest of my life, of another human being, that kind of gets overwhelming. But I did pretty
Yeah.
well. They're adults now, so I'm good.
I think we're all scared at some point when we first find out we're going to be a parent. I certainly was, but I made that mistake of turning to drink.
Oh, well, yeah, no. At that time, I wasn't drinking. Now, once the kids came along, well, that's a different situation.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, no. I always tell my kids I didn't drink until after we had you three.
So you can't say you're a party girl then growing up then, can you?
Nope, I really
Are you
wasn't.
now? Are you now?
I party, but my type of partying probably isn't what you're kind of conceptualizing. But yeah, I can throw one hell of a party. My parties have a tendency to have a Martha Stewart flair to them. But I I can throw a really good dinner party and a really good party. But I do enjoy going out. I love people. I love connecting with people. I love creating stories. I love connecting people's stories to their, in their lives. I like that. Yeah. So for me, but it's a much different type of partying.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm surprised you haven't gone out and got yourself a tattoo.
No tattoo. Not yet.
Okay.
No tattoo. No, my kids would like it if I'd get a tattoo.
Go get one.
Thanks. But I haven't found what. Okay, so you have to understand, I use paint in my house.
Okay.
When I own a house, I put paint on my walls because when I change my mind, it only costs me a couple of bucks and some time to paint the walls. I like to have the ability to change my mind.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I've got 5 tattoos on me, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I am not opposed to tattoos. My kids are all planning, they're going to get sibling tattoos. Because right now I have a son that lives in Japan. He stayed there in the Navy. My two sons are in the Navy. One's in Japan, one's in Virginia. And then our daughter's here with us right now. And the plan is the boys are going to come here to the Netherlands where we are. And the three of them are going to go get a identical tattoo. So because they have a very close bond. And so they're going to get a matching tattoo for the three of them.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. See, my partner hasn't got one.
Yeah, my husband has one. Yes, he's a sailor and he only has one tattoo.
I've got 5.
Well, there you go. Now
I want more.
Go join the Royal Navy, dude. You have one of the prerequisites for sailors. There you go. Yeah, tattoos. So didn't you know all sailors have tattoos?
I didn't know that.
I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
Ah, it's a misnomer, but it's one of those ones that a lot of people believe.
But yeah, again, I never came across that.
A sailor with a tattoo?
Yeah.
Well, did you ask him?
No.
There you have it. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
I've never come across a sailor before.
Oh, well then, I'm sorry. That's a really sad thing because they're wicked fun. And Royal Navy sailors, they are really fun.
My life has only begun the last few years, not 30 years ago.
Well, I'll tell you, you need to go out and find and meet. Well, you can't do it at the moment, but when you can, go out and meet people. And maybe you'll run into sailors.
I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
They're a lot of fun. I'm telling you. Don't mess with the Royal Marines, just as an FYI. They're wicked. They're a very interesting bunch. I know a few of them as well.
Okay. So would you say you're a military veteran now then instead of a military brat?
Nope. I never have worn a uniform.
Oh.
So that's the difference. A military veteran wears a uniform. I have never worn a uniform. I've just been behind the scenes as the supporting nature. The family either, I'm a granddaughter of a retiree. My grandfather served 40 plus years in the Navy, U.S. Navy. My dad served just shy of 30 years in the U.S. Navy. My husband is serving over 30 years because he's currently active duty in the U.S. Navy. And both my sons are in the Navy. So, yeah, nope. I personally have never worn the uniform. I've just been that supporting factor.
Brilliant. Yeah. So, with the woo-woo, obviously you've explained how you got involved with that. So, where do you see this group? I'm just going to call you the Three Musketeers.
It's okay. We're the Three Crones, and so crone is not an insult. It means wise woman.
Yeah.
And so we are the Three Crones. All of us are over 50. I know.
You don't look it.
I am though. I am. I'm 50. Thank you. We have awesome genes in my family.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the ones we just wear. But tell you, we have good ones. I do puns.
You do what?
Puns.
I bet.
A pun, genes.
Yeah.
G-E-N.
I know exactly what you mean.
Okay. I'm like, God, I'm losing it here. Oh.
No, you're not. So, oh my God. I think someone's at me. I don't know. Oh well.
Yeah.
But anyway, where do you see the three I can't even say Crones. Where do you see you? Where do you see you ladies in the next, I don't know, 2 years?
Oh gosh. Honestly, I really see us growing. Ultimately, I would love to be able, before I leave Europe and once things start opening up, we've started talking about hosting retreats. So it'd be really good. I'd love to host a retreat here in Europe, and follow like the witch, the witch hunt, if you will, that happened way back in the 1500s and 1400s, 1500s here, and do a retreat that revolves around that history, because my degree is all in history, and I love doing things that are really historical. I also we've talked about, we being mainly Gail and I at the moment. Damaris is really new to our group. But we're gonna we've talked about doing a variety of in-person stuff. So just not online, but we'll do in person. Probably, who knows, maybe publish a book of wisdom, divine wisdom from the three crones.
Okay.
You
Because
know?
obviously, my speciality is mental health, ending the stigma. Yours is getting people over to spirituality. Have you ever thought of bringing spirituality and mental health together?
Yes. Because guess what? They are intertwined.
They are.
Yeah,
They are.
they really are. Because a lot of, so we are, as a human society, spiritually depleted. And by being spiritually depleted, it means that we have lost connection with one of the most important connections we can have as humans, is one, with one another, and two, with the planet that we walk on.
Yeah.
And so, and that is part of what a spiritual path is. So anytime people are, if you really want to understand what a spiritual quest is for yourself, it's really becoming connected with yourself, becoming connected with the planet you walk on, and then being able to expand your personal energy to connect with the collective around us, which is all of humanity. It's not like just the people in your neighborhood, which that's really important too.
It is.
It is. It's wicked important, but it's being able to connect with even those people you don't know. And so, and being open, and it's less about pointing fingers in a spiritual path. It's less about pointing fingers at people and more about looking within.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, in terms of mental health aspect, because I work with a lot of mental health as well.
I need to recruit you on my team.
With what I do with people, it's about changing the tape player that you have going on in your head.
Yeah.
And a lot of the tape players we have going on our head, believe it or not, don't even necessarily belong to us.
No.
They belong to either the lineage that we have come in with. They belong to other things that we have heard. And now with the age of technology, we hear so much that isn't necessarily what we would believe if we actually were to look within and reflect upon it.
Yeah.
But we've lost how to do that because we've lost our connection with Mother Earth.
We have, yeah.
You know, because we get too caught up in these.
Mine's over there.
Well, I have mine in front of me because usually when I go on, my part of my thing and with Three Crones in the Woo Woo is my job is to send it out to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
So it's a habit. I stand here and it's like, oh, I have to move things.
Yeah, because I after this I won't be able to share it on to Facebook or any. Yeah, Facebook, because
you can send me the YouTube link and then I can share it.
Yeah, because I'm restricted.
Well, that's what happens when you get in Facebook jail. It's all good. It happens.
So you explained where the three woo-woos are going to be in the next 2 years.
Well, that's my vision. I just see us growing and having fun and connecting and helping people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you see Krista in
2 years? Oh, me personally, the sky's the limit. So we are here for the next 2 years. Actually, I'm still here in the Netherlands. So you see, I can tell you I'll be in the Netherlands for the next 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a positive thing.
It is.
Yeah, because I like being here. I love Europe. I love living in Europe. I loved living in Australia when I lived in Australia as well. And I love living in, everywhere I've lived. I just find that I find that connection.
Okay. So my final question for you.
Okay, final question.
What is your biggest fear?
That is a really interesting one. I think my biggest fear today, and I have a different perspective of how I look at fear. So for me, my life is about acronyms. So fear is an acronym for me, which is false evidence appearing real.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's for me what fear is.
I believe you.
All right. But if I were to say that I have a fear, it's not really even a fear. It's because I'm not afraid of it at all. It's like it's more a case of it can't happen fast enough rather than being a fear. And that's not being able to see both all three of my kids together all at once fast enough. Yeah. It's really not a fear. It's just more a case of it's a patience. It's a lack thereof.
Exactly. Because you get these people who do have mental health, and they keep saying to us when we ask them, "So what are you exactly scared of?" "Oh, well, I'm scared of fear." It's like, why?
Well, because they don't. We're programmed by. We're programmed to be afraid of. That is a primitive wiring within the human psyche. It's a primitive wiring within the human body. If you think about the first human beings that walked the planet, everything for them was about fight or flight. They lived in fear constantly, and they lived in fear because, there are these really big animals that could just eat them in one, they were just tasty snacks.
Exactly.
I'm like, if I lived during that time period and I could remember that time period, I probably would have been afraid to.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe if I was around Diplodocus, maybe not so much. But if knowing a Tyrannosaurus Rex could just lean over and just, pick me up as a tasty treat, I'd be a little bit afraid.
Yeah. Okay. I'll rephrase the question then, last one. Do you have any phobias?
Do I have any phobias? No, I really don't. I don't. After living in Australia, it wasn't necessarily a phobia. I didn't like spiders, right? And I've learned to overcome my lack of appreciation because I look at it from the spiritual meaning when a spider shows up. And then after now living in Australia, where my whole concept of being afraid of little things shifted because, there is a lot more little things down there that could kill me than there are anywhere else. And guess what? I'm still walking around and alive. So, I'm like, that was a really ridiculous thing to be nervous about.
Yeah. So I do have a phobia.
What's your phobia?
Moths.
Moths.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk this through before
No.
Yeah. Let's talk it through. Come on.
No way.
Oh yes. Way. I want to know, what is it about a moth that scares you?
I don't know.
Okay, so you understand that moths don't bite typically, or to break a human skin at least. They don't there's nothing toxic. I mean, unless one is shoved down your throat, there's not a toxic thing. And the reason why I say about shoving down your throat is that I'm thinking of Silence of the Lambs. That was that Silence of the Lamb reference. So is it the fact that they have flappy wings and they only appear at night and it's lights?
Yeah.
that attract them?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more maybe the aspect of what they create, the
Maybe.
shadowing that they create with a light on a dark wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Hollywood's done a great job really making that a big thing, haven't they?
See, last year when we was cleaning the garden, obviously I was out with the horse pipe, cleaning and all that, cleaning under the gutter and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then my partner turned around saying, "You do know what you've just killed?" And I'm like, "What? You've just killed a moth's nest." I'm like, "What?" Yeah.
Okay. Was it gone? It didn't bother you? It didn't do anything?
I destroyed it.
Okay.
But I didn't know it was there.
So you faced your fear without realizing it was there.
See, if it comes close to me,
Mhm.
I'll either hit it or spray it to kill it. But if it's like flying around up
Yeah.
high, I dart.
Mhm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's just, yeah. Give me the cringes.
It gives you the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Yeah, heebie-jeebies are a natural thing. Essentially, it's fluttering in your personal energy space.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've given you
Yeah.
something to work with now, haven't I?
Ah, it's an interesting thing. So moths transform. If you think about it, it's like a butterfly. Are you afraid of
Yeah.
butterflies?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It transforms. It's a little caterpillar.
Yeah.
Have you ever read the story, the hungry caterpillar?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a really great story, right?
It is.
And it's the same thing. It starts off as a hungry caterpillar, and it goes into this chrysalis, forms into this chrysalis, turns into mush. I mean, if you think about it, they turn into mush once they do that. And then they go through this powerful transformation, right? And they ball themselves up, and wings grow and wrap around them. And then they have to explode out of that little chrysalis. So it's all about transformation. So, what are you afraid of transforming?
I don't know. It just gives me the creeps when I'm actually talking about them.
Yeah, but is it really the moth that's giving you the creeps or the transformation process?
I'd say itself, the moth.
Well, when you see a moth, try to approach it so ask the moth. You don't have to ask out loud. You can ask, to yourself, but ask the moth, what are you here to teach me? And see how that changes your approach with the moth. Just try it. Adam, you can just give it a go. Just give it a go.
I've given you something to work with now, haven't I?
Oh,
God. Oh my God.
yeah, you can do this. I mean, I'm not saying go out and find a moth. I'm just saying next time a moth appears, ask the moth, what are you here to teach me?
My partner purposely, when she comes across them, she opens the window and lets it in.
Oh,
I don't like that.
it's okay. My husband loves finding spiders and showing them to me. Look, honey. He finds it amusing.
Yeah.
So one of the things as long as I'm like, I'll look at it, I'll admire it, and I'll be like, okay, so now go put it outside. Thank you. It means, when spiders appear, I have to remember that a spider means it's a trickster, A.
Yeah.
And B, a spider is reminding me that I'm creating something, that I'm weaving something.
Yeah. See, I still remember now, there was one point where a spider was starting to dangle down from the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And my son came across it because
Yep.
it was dangling right next to him. He turned to it and hang on. He did that. He boxed it back off. So, yeah.
Good for him. That's an awesome thing. That is. I mean, there are some people that look at and they're fine with it. I have a friend who is absolutely terrified of spiders. Absolutely terrified. Whether it's a photo, whether it's a real spider, whether it's one that he is right next to him, on him, far away that he could see through a camera lens, terrified of spiders. Terrified. Yeah.
I'm like that with moths.
Okay.
I'm like
So
that.
but ask yourself the next time. I'm not saying to become best friends with moths. I'm not saying to to have one as a pet, but ask the moth, what is it you're here to teach me? And see what just listen. I'm not saying the moth is going to talk to you, just something may appear, something else may happen at a within a set amount of time, which I'm not going to say what it is, that suddenly makes you go, oh, I see the connection now.
Can you accept if I think about it?
I can accept if you think about it.
Oh my God.
Because remember, thinking about it means you're doing it, whether or not you want to acknowledge it. That's very Yoda of me. I know.
Who's Yoda?
Who's Yoda? Oh, I'm sorry. Have you been living under a rock like your entire life? You just asked me who Yoda was?
Who's Yoda?
Star Wars. Yoda. Oh, okay. I have a homework assignment for you then. Watch Star Wars.
My partner loves Star Wars, and she said,
and you don't know who Yoda is?
Right. This is how it is. This is how it is. My partner loves Star Wars. She's watched every one, and she says, "Adam, we're gonna watch Star Wars." I'm like, right, okay, fair enough. Half an hour into the first one, she was still watching it. I was asleep.
Oh boy. Okay.
I'm
All right.
more Star Trek. I'm more Star Trek.
And you give me, my dad's a Trekkie. My dad loves Star Trek. We go both Star Wars and Star Trek in our family, but definitely I think that we're more Star Wars than Star Trek. Although my oldest son really likes Star Trek. So, yeah. No, that is kind of funny. No worries. So, can I do something fun for you, Adam?
Go on then. End it with something fun.
Yeah, let me do something fun for you. I'm going to pull a card for you. And it's funny. This is the deck that showed up. It's called The Power of Love.
All right.
Okay, so this is an activation card set. This is not a tarot card set or an oracle card set. It's an activation one. So I was drawn, and if there's anybody that you can see who's commenting, who wants to watch or who wants to have a card, you have to comment, and so that Adam can tell me that you're there, and I will draw a card for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you want your card drawn, you can find me on Facebook, Dimensional Healing with Krista, and you can ask me, and I'll draw a card for you. All right, so Adam, do you want top, bottom, or middle?
Middle.
All right, so this is your card. Action.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to read it. Hold on, I need to put on my reading glasses. Now, see, now don't I look older now? There you go.
No.
All right, you have the courage to express the unique, loving colors of your soul.
I like it.
Yeah. So that is your love, power of love activation right there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I always I love playing with oracle cards, and because it gives me my thought for the day.
I want you to
Yes,
teach
sir.
me. I want you to teach me all about this because I want to do this myself.
You do?
Yeah.
Give yourself a thought for the day with oracle cards?
No, not me do what you do.
Well,
Like with
what
all
specifically
spirituality.
that I do? I mean, I do a lot of different things. I'm a
Not
crystal
like
healer. I'm a Reiki master
yeah.
teacher. I'm a Reiki, I do Reiki crystal healing. So I
Like
can,
know what to do with the cards, know what to do with the crystals. I want to know it.
well, you want to know it. Well, okay. So you have to pick the best way to start your spiritual journey is you need to find one thing that interests you. I mean, it's not unusual to be like you are right now. I want to know it all. I want to learn it all, because that is a good sign. That means you're open to possibilities.
I'm
You're open to
open-minded.
learning.
Yeah.
But what helps a lot is finding one, two, maybe three tops things that you can kind of start diving into. You want to learn about crystals? That's a marvelous thing. Stick with me, kid. I will help you learn about crystals.
Yeah.
I will. I need to. I need to start putting up classes again, but I'll start doing little crystal things and classes and stuff that you can participate in.
Brilliant.
Online, in person. I actually prefer doing a lot of my classes in person rather than online, just because, I do have crystals, and we do play with cards.
Yeah.
We play with all kinds of things. However, I adapt, I overcome very well to challenges. So yeah, and I love to travel. So if you have a group of people in England that you think that you can put together that want me to come, we can talk about that too.
Leave that with me.
Okay.
On that note, thank you for coming on.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. And all I've got to say is, yeah, thank you. And please tune in about 4 hours from now when I've got Sarah Jane I can't even pronounce the surname. I know. McGarry. That's it. McGarry.
McGarrett. Okay.
Talking about autism.
So, yeah, autism. Yeah. Yep.
And then again at 9 o'clock tonight, where I've got Joanne.
Yes. And Joanne, what's Joanne talking about specifically?
She's talking about her.
Her? Yeah, she's another one. She and I have a very similar, because we both do health and fitness as well as all this other stuff. So yeah, she has her own.
It'll be your 10 o'clock at night though.
Yeah, I'm sorry. For me, 10 o'clock it's my bedtime. That's part of that, old age thing. Actually, it's part of honestly, it's part of good mental health.
Absolutely.
So if you want good mental health, here's my mental health tip. If you really want good mental health, you need to start with a consistent bedtime. And ideally between 9 and 11 is ideal for adults. And and then getting yourself up ideally between 5 and 7:30.
I do that.
Yeah. So those, because you want needs, I don't like to give an hour. They say, well, you need 8 hours of sleep. Well, you see, I'm not an 8-hour sleeper. I'm somebody, my prime is about 7 hours. If I go too long, if I do too much, for me, it's like I'm groggy all day. But I find that 7 hours is good, and lots of good water. I haven't been drinking enough water today, though.
Well, get a move on and get it down you.
Yes, sir. I'm on it.
Thank you for coming on. There you go. So what I'll do now is end this podcast and let's get the shirt.
All right. Cheery bye.